Hey everyone, my name is OiToiya, and I just wanted to give a testimony about my experience from the Soul Tie workshop we had a few weeks ago. It was nothing but a blessing for me. I know it was divinely orchestrated for me to attend that workshop, and I'm so glad that I chose to do so. There were so many things that God has been dealing with me for years, well over 10 years, and a lot of those things were beginning to come to a head actually the day before the workshop even began. And it was just a blessing to have so much that I've been confused about for so long, just so much clarity brought to me. That was a true blessing. One of the things that was both confirmation and revelation for me was when Ann spoke on the ability for a soul tie to begin while a baby's in the mother's womb. That was a revelation for me because I didn't know it could happen so soon. But it was also confirmation in a way. For years, God has been dealing with me and showing me that there was a negative bond between mother and daughter in my family. And when she spoke on that, I understood. I understood because one of the negative soul ties that I dealt with was with my mother, and it was lifelong. So I understood then that it had to have happened while I was in the womb. And it also brought another clarity to my attention. Well, one thing with me, God speaks to me a lot through dreams. That's been going on since I was very young. For whatever reason, that's how God speaks to me. I chose to think, well, that's because that's the one time I can't talk back and question him. I just have to see everything that's coming my way and accept it. And one of the things that God does, God shows me my children ahead of time. I have yet to give birth without knowing I was going to have this child. And during the pregnancy, I knew what I was going to have. At least a year ahead of time, I see my child. And that happened with my firstborn, who happened to be a girl. And 2 years before I had her, I saw her in a dream. And that dream was different. That was the first time I ever had a dream where I knew beyond anything God was showing me something that was going to happen. And from the moment I had that dream, I fell in love. I wanted that little girl. I loved that little girl. I had no idea I'd be having that little girl so young myself. But nevertheless, I loved her. So from the moment I accepted my pregnancy, I was in love. I wanted her. And that I knew then was God's way of breaking that curse. God didn't allow that negative bond from the womb to continue through me. I went into this with 3 names on a list. I thought those were the only 3 soul ties I had. I wound up, after praying, with God showing me 11 more people. Total of 14 names on that list. And I was just so amazed. It was just amazing how we can have these negative bonds that affect our minds, our emotions, and how we live our lives, and we don't even realize that it's taking place. But that's God. God stepped in right on time to deliver so many of us from things that have had us bound for so long. And I'll admit, there are a few things that I'm still not completely there with yet, but almost everything was completely knocked out. 36 years worth of stuff completely knocked out in just 2 days. Not even 2 full days, because the workshop only lasted so long. But those 2 days were just such a pivotal moment in my life. God did a complete 180 for me. I was slowly getting there, but God really just turned me that one weekend. And it's just such a blessing to know you're not alone. And mainly, you're not at fault. You're only at fault if you don't keep on striving, if you don't keep on seeking. Even if you're still struggling deeply with your soul ties, don't give up. That's what the enemy wants you to do. But God is standing right there to bring more clarity, to bring more confirmation, so that you can have stronger confidence, that you can begin working and getting delivered truly, completely, totally from all these things. Because that's all the enemy wants. He wants us bound so that we can't operate. We're here for a purpose, and we can't do that if we are tied more deeply and more strongly to others than we are to God. It's only God who we're supposed to be so linked to that we are operating in sync with. And I want to thank you, Ann, right quick, for just being so humble and so sincere, but mainly so godly. You see God in everything that you do first, foremost. That is your aim, to please God and to do God's will. And that is so inspiring. And I just want to thank you so much for the way you selflessly give of yourself to see other people come to the same freedom that God brought you to. And I just want everyone to know, don't give up.
At the end of the day, He loves me. At the end of the day, He loves me. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, he loves